Hey, thanks for taking the time again. If you're returning to spend the time with me and listen to what I had to share. And I wanted to start by sharing a quote from Joe Bruce Lee. He said, "Before I learned the art, a punch was just a punch and a kick just a kick. After I learned the art, a punch was no longer a punch, a kick no longer a kick. Now that I understand the art, a punch is just a punch and a kick is just a kick." And I share this because the way I live my life is very simple, in my opinion, and probably to a lot of other people it seems simple. But that simplicity didn't come without, discoveries and trials and errors and just time in general. And quite frankly, it didn't come without a certain amount of complexity over time. You can make life simple, but not without the hardship of allowing time to pass and allowing yourself self-discovery and just to understand who you are and how you like things. And we have to go through those processes in order to establish the simplicities that we have in place. And perfect example is obviously the Bruce Lee quote. In martial arts, you walk into your first class and you might think that I'm just going to ball my fist up and let her rip, and you find out pretty quickly that there's a lot to be learned about how to properly throw an effective punch, for however you need to throw that punch. And you end up finding out all these nuances and things that you need to learn and practice and hone and sharpen before you can actually use that weapon efficiently, use your fist efficiently. And then once you do that, once you've gone through all those practices and all those years and hours of training, then it just becomes a punch again. And you can just do it on command. It's muscle memory. Like Bruce says in his movie, he says, when the time comes, I don't hit, it hits all by itself. And that's, simply put, it's taken all that time for him to be able to do that. And you can relate that to some other things. And for me, I like I said, I like to live a simple life. And in order for me to do that, I try to have as little debt as possible. So the only debt I have right now is my mortgage on my house. And of course I have a car, I have a motorcycle, but those are paid off. And it's very simple for me right now. But I had to go through the X amount of years of paying the car down, paying the motorcycle down, so I can live a simple life monetarily at the moment. And something else might be something that's more internal, would be being able to express who you are in a simple fashion, right? You have to go through a lot of self-discovery and pain as well in order to discover who you are, in order to be able to show people and tell people who you are and how you like things and how to express your emotions. You have to learn things and experiment and go through those complexities in order to create the simple. And another example would be when you were a baby, walking was not simple at all. You had to fall, you had to crawl, fall, get up, fall again, until at some point in your life, whatever age it might have been, walking is just walking now, and it's simple. And it's just an automatic function at the moment. And, living with minimal things. Another thing that I like to do is I just don't have a lot of stuff, I like to live with only the things that I really feel like I need. But in order for me to try to understand what those things were, I had to go through years and years of owning just stuff. Some of it was just pointless, and I had to, obviously, it might not be obvious, but, we end up having emotional attachments to a lot of our things, and I had to evaluate those emotions and say, is this even something that means anything to me, and what am I going to do with this later? And eventually I just sold everything and got rid of it or donated it or whatever. And some of that came from me moving states. I moved states for work at one point, and so just to make the move simple, I had to take the time and go through all my stuff to determine whether or not I actually wanted this stuff or not. And turns out I didn't need a whole hell of a lot. So now I've developed that type of lifestyle that I don't need a lot of things, and I can evaluate emotionally if I need something. If something comes up and somebody says, "Oh man, you gotta have this," and I'm able to evaluate it emotionally and go, "Do I really need that?" I only have one subscription that I have. It's Amazon Prime. That's it. I don't have any of the other subscriptions because I just don't need it. I can live without it. So these are just examples in my life that I want to just use to express that being simple does not come without hardship and time and experience and expression and discovery. There's tons of complexities behind the simple stuff. So, another one that popped into my head was when I get up at 3 a.m. in the morning to get ready to go work out. That's not simple. It took me quite a bit to put that discipline in place and try to understand how that's going to benefit me in my schedule. So now it's simple. Alarm goes off, I get up. There's no negotiation to lay in bed any longer. Does it happen? Yeah, sure, it happens. It happens from time to time where I lay there another 15, 20 minutes, but most of the time I'll get up and get moving. But again, that discipline and that simplicity of just doing it did not come without kicking and screaming at first. And discovering, the kind of person I would be, the kind of health I want to have, and things like that. So I hope that makes sense. I'm gonna call it, and I don't have too much else to share on it. I'm sure I could talk a little longer on it and give you some more examples, but I think you get the point. And so just to, if you want things simple, you're gonna have to go through some complexities, and that's just fine. That's how it goes. So I appreciate you sticking with me. I appreciate you using your energy to create this moment with me, and I hope you have a beautiful day.